I was in London at a dinner honoring one of the most famous English soldiers of his time. I'm not going to tell you his real name or job title. I will just call him Lieutenant General Lord Arthur Scoresby. I can't explain how happy I was to see this famous and great man. That was the man himself, sitting there with medals all over him. I couldn't look away from him. He seemed to have what it takes to be truly great. His fame didn't change him. So many people were worshipping him, but it didn't seem to bother him that so many eyes were on him. A priest who was an old friend of mine was sitting next to me. He wasn't always a priest. For the first half of his life, he worked as a teacher at Navy School Woolwich. He leaned in close to me and whispered, privately, "He is a complete fool." He had a strange look in his eye. Of course, he meant the main course of our dinner. I was shocked by this. I gave him a good look. It would have shocked me even more if he had said the same thing about Solomon, Socrates, or Napoleon. But there were two things I knew for sure about the priest. He always told the truth. What he thought about people was good. In light of this, I needed to learn more about our hero right away. After a few days, I talked to the minister again, and he told me more. These were his exact words. When young Scoresby took his first test, I was a teacher at the military academy at Woolwich about 40 years ago. I truly felt terrible for him. Well-thought-out answers were given by everyone except him. He didn't know anything, so to speak. He was a nice young man. It hurt to watch him stand there and give answers that were so stupid they were unbelievable. I knew for sure that he would fail the second test and be kicked out. I thought to myself, it would be easy and safe to help him as much as I can. When I talked to him alone, I learned that he knew a little about the history of Julius Caesar. He didn't know anything else, though. I put him to the test and treated him like a slave at work. I made him work on some questions about Caesar over and over because I knew they would be asked of him. Please believe me when I say that he did really well on the test day. He also got a lot of praise, while people who knew 1,000 times more than him got harsh criticism. He was only asked the questions I made him study, which was a strange and lucky accident. It only takes 100 years for this kind of accident to happen again. Well, I was there for him through all of his classes, like a mother is there for a child. He was always saved by some kind of magic. I thought the math test would be the thing that would kill him in the end. I made the choice to end his life as painlessly as possible. So, for hours, I pushed facts into his stupid head. Lastly, I let him take the test to see what I thought would happen when he got kicked out of school. So, sir, try to picture what will happen. I was completely shocked. He won first place. And the best praise was given to him. I felt bad about what I was doing all the time. But all I wanted to do was make his firing a little less painful. I had no idea it would end up in such strange and funny ways. I thought that one thing would definitely happen at some point. The first real test after school would ruin him. After that, the Crimean War started. It made me so sad for him that there had to be a war. Peace would have given this donkey a chance to stay hidden and never be found out for being so stupid. I was tense as I waited for the worst to happen. Yes, it did. He was given the rank of officer. What? A captain? How could they have thought that they would give him such a big responsibility? To myself, I told myself that I owed this to the country. In order to protect the country from him, I had to go with him. That's why I joined him. We went to the field anyway. And there, oh no, it was awful. He made so many mistakes that they were scary. He never did anything right, he only made mistakes. But, you see, no one knew how stupid he really was. Everyone got his actions wrong. When he did something stupid, they thought it was intelligent. Really, they did. No man in his right mind would have made him cry, scream, and shout to himself, of course. And what kept me scared all the time was that every mistake he made him more famous and praised. I kept telling myself that it would be impossible for them to forget about him when they finally did. He kept going up, even though his bosses were already dead. Then, during the hottest part of one battle, our colonel was killed. Scoresby was going to take his place next, which made my heart jump into my mouth. I said, now we're in for it. Things got worse in the battle. The English and their allies were slowly pulling back across the field. It was very important that our regiment was in a certain place. One mistake now would mean disaster for everyone. Which is what Scoresby did this time. He just thought his left hand was his right hand. He was told to fall back and support our right. He moved forward and went left over the hill instead. Before this crazy movement could be found and stopped, we were already over the hill. What did we find? A big Russian army that no one saw coming. What did happen? Were we all killed? Most of the time, that is exactly what would have happened, 99 in 100. They were surprised, though, because they thought that no single regiment would come that way at that time. They thought it had to be the whole British Army. We chased after them as they turned tail and ran away over the hill and down into the field. Right away, there was the biggest turn you've ever seen. It was a big win for the Allies after they had lost. As the Allied commander watched, he was filled with awe, surprise, and happiness. He quickly sent Scoresby off, then embraced and hugged him in front of all the other armies on the field. Scoresby became famous all over the world that day as a great military leader. Until the end of time, that honor will never go away. He's still as nice and friendly as ever, but he still doesn't know how to get inside when it rains. He is the stupidest person in the world. Scoresby and I were the only ones who knew about it until now. Strange luck has been following him every day for a long time. He has been a great soldier in all of our wars for a long time. He has made a lot of mistakes during his time in the military. Every one of them gave him a new title of honor. Take a look at his chest. It's full of medals from all over the world. In any case, sir, each one is a record of some very stupid thing. Being born lucky is the best thing that can happen to a man. I will say it again, just like I did at the dinner, Scoresby is the fool.